Hi there, Coastal Bend. Meteorologist Carly Smith here. Thank you so much for joining. I am talking a lot about the changing weather that we've got, but first, we have a really fabulous forecast. Fabulous day ahead of us. Look at all the sunshine coming out. So, can't wait for the sunshine. Love to see it. But changes on the way. The more sunshine we see now and into tomorrow, the greater our risk for thunderstorms is going to be, because that sun provides heat that then provides that lift for thunderstorms. So anyway, it's a gorgeous day outside. Our wind is going to pick up. Again, it's going to be that onshore wind, which does start to increase our moisture also, which is another way that thunderstorms develop. But again, not happening today. We'll continue to see clearing skies into this afternoon and evening. We'll have clear skies overnight, but some fog may develop. That's going to play a big role heading out the door tomorrow morning. So make sure you post your questions. We'll break down that risk for storms as well coming up right now. So beautiful day today. Again, no storms today, no storms tonight, just a chance for fog tonight. But what you do need to know is Friday night there is a risk. It's a marginal risk, which is level 1, the lowest risk of severe weather with isolated storms in the area. So we're talking 1 or 2 storms may provide 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 1 inch hailstones. And that's not only in our region of Texas, but pretty much across the state and even into portions of Oklahoma. So this again is Friday night into Saturday morning for us. That's our best bet for some strong to severe weather. And one of the main reasons why is we're going to be in a section of a jet streak. And so that's where kind of the winds start to increase. They kind of converge on one side of a trough in the jet stream, and then they separate or diverge on the other side of the downhill, the low pressure of the jet streak as well. So basically breaking it down here is as our low pressure slides over the Four Corners region, that jet streak is enhanced, and what you see is going to be the diverging section where the winds are going away from the jet stream right through here, and then the winds are also going away from the jet streak on this side, right? So they're going away from each other right across Texas during the day on Friday. And so essentially what that sets up is it puts us in the left exit region of that jet streak, and that can lead to better lift in the atmosphere because essentially there's like a rotating column of air, right, that on the front end of the jet streak provides lift in the bottom quadrant, but on the other side, the air is spinning the opposite way, and so that provides lift on our side of the jet streak. So it can lead to better atmospheric lift, but also we've got a cold front that will be moving through, and that's really going to be the main culprit of our storms. But additionally, we've got some CAPE to watch out for. So when we're talking about CAPE, that's storm energy or convective available potential energy to get specific. We don't see any of that today or really into Friday morning, but by Friday afternoon, we have low levels of CAPE. This is not impressive CAPE by any means, really across Texas, right? So nothing is in that high level of CAPE, but we do have some CAPE, and as that front moves through, that also provides additional lift. And what you see here is right through kind of Victoria is going to be a target zone, and then up through Columbus, Conroe. That's going to be a target zone for some storms because you see the CAPE disappearing because storms are in that area, cooling conditions down, creating sinking air and divergence and so forth. So anyway, the point of this is there may be some better lifting going on closer to Victoria. But essentially what we've got going on is we have enough storm energy combined with the cold front for us to be watching out for the chance for some strong to severe storms until that front passes through. So once the front slides on through, then we're going to lose our CAPE, we're going to lose our cloud coverage, we're going to see the sunshine breaking through on Saturday. Drier air is coming into place with northwest winds out there. So that's essentially the CAPE side of things. It's not impressive by any means, so I'm not expecting widespread strong thunderstorms. Breaking it down now on Futurecast, this is our in-house computer model, the IBM model Actually, that's a lie. This is the HER that I have not edited. This is not our in-house model. This is one anyone can look at on the internet, and that cold front is old because I did not use this model this morning. But I did put it in this lineup because I wanted to show you that the HER and the RPM are kind of similar. The HER tends to overdo the amount of precipitation in the models. So in other words, it looks scarier than it's going to be typically, but you can see right around 1:30, the front's starting to impact George West, Beeville. That's where stronger storms are going to be. So you're seeing those higher red colors showing up. It looks like both models are kind of in agreement that we see more of the storm activity between George West, Mathis, Beeville, Ingleside, Rockport, possibly Port Aransas, anywhere kind of along I-37, so George West's a little bit further west than 37, but anywhere along I-37, well, my map is backwards to my hand, but anywhere along Interstate 37 and to the northeast of there, that's where we're going to see the best opportunity for some of these storms, it looks like. And both models kind of are in agreement with that. This model does not go out all the way yet. It stops around 6 a.m. on Saturday, and the other model goes a little bit further, so we'll see the storms clear out. So this is today, gorgeous day, just some cumulus clouds trying to develop. Right here actually is going to be fog, so there's a chance we see a little bit of sea fog because notice the air temperature around 66, 63. Our sea surface temperatures are hovering right around 63. They may warm up a little bit today. If our air temperature and our sea temperature stay close enough together, we won't see a whole lot of sea fog. But anytime the air temperature is warmer than that sea surface temperature, especially in the morning, we do tend to see that sea fog. So that's something to keep an eye on because there's just so much more humidity down at the surface at that point in time. So we could see some sea fog, especially during the day, also on Friday. That when we get those warmer temperatures thanks to the sun, that could lead to the sea fog as well kind of showing up. But essentially, I think the 281 corridor has a better opportunity for some fog because the winds are going to be a little lighter out that direction and west of there versus through Corpus Christi, our winds might be too strong for the fog to develop at the surface. Regardless, we get some stratus starting to develop, some cumulostratus, and then as we continue on along, see how the models are kind of in agreement. Now the timeline isn't totally in agreement, but you do see more of the stronger storms staying a bit more to our north. So right now, that timeline is after, we'll call it after 7 p.m., but more so 8 p.m. we start to see a few thunderstorms popping up out west. Now, these could be strong. I don't necessarily see the early ones being severe. I think anything closer to the cold front, which the latest model is trending the front a little slower than it was this morning. So I didn't edit any of these before this little live because I was actually at a school talk. So I was talking at the Incarnate Word Academy Career Day today, and I chatted with some of the second graders. So I love getting out in the community and talking about my career, and so keep that in mind at any of your kids' schools. If they're asking for volunteers, you can also pass along my name, but I want to draw this front. It kind of is slowing down a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. But I think the storm's closer to the boundary because that front gives additional lift and convergence taking place along the front. We're going to have a better chance for some of those storms. And it depends on how southeast our winds. So right now, this is showing our wind more out of the south Saturday morning. And so the more out of the south those winds are, probably the more moisture will be from Corpus Christi up through Beeville and then east of there, which is why areas to the west just are not getting in on a lot of the storm activity because that's coming in over the drier air from Mexico versus the Gulf moisture air. And so that's one of the reasons why those areas to the northeast tend to see a lot more rain or storm opportunities than us out to the west. The fronts that do a better job at starting west and then going east, I mean, this one does have it. We probably have a little bit of a dry line that tries to set up. So you do see some storms trying to develop along that 281 corridor around 2 a.m. But regardless, here's the point I want to make. So 8 p.m. all the way through 8 a.m. So 8 p.m. through 8 a.m., we have a chance for some strong to severe storms. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. As the front passes through, it will be a little bit of an enhanced opportunity. So that's around midnight to 8 a.m. Midnight to 8 a.m. We'll see storms as early as 8 p.m., but I think the severe risk goes up midnight to 8 a.m. And that would be Saturday morning. Then the front slides south, and look, sunshine. So you see all those zeros because this is in the edit mode, and the temperature forecast that we're using, it ends at 7, 8, 9, so 11. The temperature forecast ends at 11, and so when we are no longer getting that temperature data, it just shows up as zeros. But the storm forecast ends by 3 p.m. So the point I want to make is our temperatures are not falling to zero, but we will see clearing skies during the day on Saturday. So we'll start the morning off a little stormy. Those storms clear out by 8 p.m. and then we see the clouds breaking and sunshine setting up for actually a kind of pleasant Saturday. So in that 3-day forecast, what we see, our temperatures actually not cooling down because we're going to get first kind of a surge of dry air with sunshine coming in behind that front. So it's going to be drier with sunshine. Then as that low kind of sets up and hovers over the southeast, we continue to see more of that continental drier air coming more so from like the Rocky Mountains into Colorado. We see a little bit more of a northwesterly push coming around that low, and so some of that deeper continental air, which is a little cooler. So our temperatures do start to fall into Sunday and then even into Monday. But over the next 3 days, what you need to know is Friday night, we have the chance for storms. Sunday, we're still tracking the really strong wind gust. So again, I've already done a Facebook Live talking about this. The forecast really hasn't changed much, but as you see on Sunday, essentially we're in between this area of high and low pressure, right? And so the winds are enhanced out of the northwest in this area between the high and the low pressure. And so at the surface, that's going to translate this way. So ahead of that cold front, we are going to be a little gusty on Friday. Then the front slides through, and the front itself isn't really going to increase our winds too much. Only if we see thunderstorms develop do we see the chance for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Then we get northwest winds during the day on Saturday, not too strong, but it's Sunday when the winds get really strong. This is going to be wind that would cause some issues driving, especially into Sunday afternoon. You're going to get a northwest wind, so that would be a tailwind if you're driving back from San Antonio, but a headwind if you're driving to San Antonio, and almost a crosswind across areas like 281 and 77. Trip to Houston is going to be a crosswind, and that is not fun to drive in. That's when you kind of have to hold on to the steering wheel the whole time. Additionally, we'll likely see some warnings for the Gulf, whether definitely a small craft advisory may be higher. And this is dry air, remember, and high wind and sunshine and still fairly warm temperatures. All of that combined is going to enhance our fire danger risk. So fire danger is going to be a bigger risk on Sunday. So last thing I'll show while I look at your questions is going to be the 7-day forecast. Remember, fire danger high on Sunday. Saturday, not the worst wind, but still breezy. And then Friday, we're windy. Gusts are actually going to be around 35 miles per hour on Friday also. So that's what we're looking at. The best chance for rain is on our Friday. I'll take a look at some of y'all's questions now. Hello, Joe, if you're still watching. And Linda, good morning. Sandra, good morning. Manuel, good morning. There was barely any storms last time. It is kind of a similar setup, but different. As the front moves through, I think we'll see more storms than last time, but again, more to the north. The amount of Cape keeps it at a lower level or a lower risk, in my opinion, and the timing. So overnight, that's always lower Cape also, Zach, but we're not going to get lots of rain. In fact, we'll be lucky to get an inch of rain. This is a model data forecast, maybe if it will load. And I like to show this, don't take this as an absolute, right? But what I want you to see out of this is where the blues set up. So wherever we end up seeing thunderstorms, which again does look like it will be north of us, wherever we do see those thunderstorms set up, that's going to be where an inch of rain is going to be possible. For the rest of us, it's going to be much more spotty, much more isolated, much lighter showers also. So here's the other model, which has some heavy rain a little bit further south, but that's still around a half an inch if we're lucky. So most of us through this rain event will be lucky to get a 1/10 of an inch of rain, but where the thunderstorms do set up, which does include possibly northern Live Oak County, B County, where the strong thunderstorms set up, and again, I mentioned this on first edition, and I don't know if I emphasized enough here, there's going to be a lot more forcing between Victoria and Houston, and even San Antonio, Austin. So the northern end of this front is going to have a lot more boost in the atmosphere than the southern end. And so I see San Antonio, Victoria, Houston, and then up toward the Texas-Oklahoma border. That's where they're going to get more that's where they're going to get heavier rainfall out of the thunderstorms, and where they see a better chance, honestly, of thunderstorms developing into Saturday morning. So, Brett, the answer is not a lot of rain. But where the thunderstorms set up, which again looks like it would be north and east of Corpus Christi, that's where we see the best opportunity for some heavy rainfall and even a flooding potential. Good morning, everyone. Gina, Rocio. Monica says, are we expecting an Arctic blast in February? It is all over social media, and the answer that I am giving on that right now is it's still winter. As a meteorologist, forecasting, so my job on first edition is to get you out the door and be prepared for the day ahead. And then anything within the next 7 days that is worth noting, because forecasts only get less and less accurate as time goes on. So what we have here is how accurate anything is more than 2 weeks out is basically trash. And could it happen? Yeah, we're still in winter. Will it happen? It's more than 2 weeks out, so it's hard to say for sure. And to be honest, when I'm forecasting day to day, I don't do a lot of long range forecasting because it is so unreliable. I try to focus on being accurate within the next 3 days and within your work week and for your weekend forecast, more so than 2 weeks out, because that's almost impossible to hit on the nail, right? You're always going to feel wrong forecasting 2 weeks out. So the short answer is it's still winter, and we do tend to see cold swings in February. The long answer is it's complicated, and I really have not dove into the way you can forecast that. And it's not just looking at a model and posting that model on social media. You're looking more, the polar vortex is something that is forecastable, and you're looking for little dips in that polar vortex if it is kind of more in a zonal flow, or if it's going up and down and things like that. And I just the people that do the long range forecasting, that's the Climate Prediction Center. That is their job, is to put out a long range forecast. And over the next 8 to 14 days, there is going to be colder temperatures to our west, which could lead to colder below normal temperatures for us 3 to 4 weeks out. So in the February 10th through 23rd range, there is a chance for us to see colder than normal. Exactly how much colder than normal, it's almost impossible to say right now. So that's all I'm saying on that note. It does look like that would come with some rain as well in that 3 weeks out range. We're also above normal for rain 8 to 14 days out, so that's February 8th through 14th. We've got a decent chance of rain as well. So yeah, I would say the 3rd week of February is anywhere, well, valid the 10th through the 23rd. So there's a chance for below normal temperatures the 10th through the 23rd. And that is where we're going to end things. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I kind of answered your questions, but the long range forecasting, that is not my specialty, and anyone posting just a model on the internet, that is not their specialty either. They're just trying to get you to click on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you all have a terrific day. We'll talk more about the severe risk tomorrow around the same time.